Good evening, everyone. I'm Suzanne Shirley, and I'm an Emerald Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. Here tonight talking to you guys about Romi Neustadt's Get Over Your Damn Self. And that's right, we have a hard time doing that, don't we? And tonight we are going to be, by the way, hello, everybody. Tonight we're going to be doing chapters 9 and 10 about following up and duplication. So, two of the most important topics in network marketing, two of the biggest skills and phenomenons you want to get down, okay? Sounds simple, right? I will tell you this. I mean, I learn something new every single day. Every time I read another chapter of hers, I learn something that I did not know before. I learned something that I need to be doing that I'm not doing. I don't know about you guys, but that's my experience. Following up, we all drop the ball. I don't care how experienced you are, how long you've been in Plexus, and I'm talking about myself. It doesn't matter. You can always get better at it, and I am no way, Jose, a master of follow-up, okay? It is a skill that I am still perfecting, and I will perfect it. Eventually, I will get to be the master of it. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably, as far as talent goes in following up, I'd probably say I was a 7. I'm probably a little bit too hard on myself. As far as the people that have slipped through the cracks on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say I'm a 5 because I've let, or even less maybe, I've let a lot of people slip through the cracks. And when you do that, there's a way to pull them out of the hat. There's a way that you can go back and dust them off and follow up and touch base again. And before I get started, that's a good reason to talk about. Let's say if you have let somebody go for quite some time and you haven't followed up with them, and like in my case, maybe it's over a year. Well, what I always like to do is I like to apologize. And that's the best thing to do. Apologies are vulnerability, and people understand if you really are humble and you really mean it and you say, look, I dropped the ball, completely dropped the ball. There's no excuse. I knew you were interested in Plexus, and it was my responsibility to touch base with you and make sure that you had your questions answered, etc. Would you accept my apology and let me know? Have you thought about it in the last few months? Has it crossed your mind? Would you mind me telling you about our new products that have just been released? I mean, you can always apologize. And I think that as long as it's sincere and it's devout and you mean it, then an apology, it works. Okay. So anyway, she doesn't mention that in here, not that I remember, but that is a really good policy to go by. Also, if you feel like you botched it with somebody, if you like, in my case, I'll give you an example. I was too over the top with a gal that I really wanted on my team. All she wanted was the product. All she wanted was to get healthy, get off her blood pressure meds, maybe, that kind of thing. And she's such a rock star that I pushed her and kept talking about the business over and over and over. Oh my gosh, she would just be so good at this, you know. Well, when she and I made an appointment for her to sign up, she made an excuse about how she didn't have the money right then. She had some bills that she had to pay, and that was a bunch of hoo-ha. Because they're not hurting for money, and if she really wanted Plexus, she could have done it. And they go out to eat like 10 times a week. So, and they take trips. So I knew she was giving me, let's just put it this way, a BS excuse to get me off of her back. And I knew what I had done. And so I let her give me that excuse and asked her if I could follow up in the next few months. Well, I became extremely embarrassed. I never followed up. I let her go. Let it almost be like 8 or 9 months. That's the last time that I had talked to her. And she never quit coming across my mind. Never quit crossing my mind. And the thing that made me reach out again and get the ball started again and get the conversation started was she's so awesome, somebody's going to sponsor her. Somebody is going to sign her up. And I want that person to be me when she's ready to do it. You guys, it's all about timing. This follow-up thing is a game. It's a cat and mouse. It basically is a process that you're going through consistently over and over and over and over and over and over until they have enough information, until they have the proper understanding, until the timing is right, until they have a desperate need or you've piqued their interest and they have a desire or a reason to do Plexus. So that's the purpose of the follow-up. It gives you the time that's necessary to build a trust, to build a relationship, to educate them, to show them the value of our product and how it will help them, the WIIFT, what's in it for them. It gives you enough time to find out what's going on in their lives and what they're missing, what they're lacking, what you could do to provide something that would solve their problem. It gives you time to build that relationship. And sometimes the follow-up process is shorter, but I'm going to tell you 9 times out of 10, the follow-up process takes 10 to 12 times. And whatever that looks like, whether it's 10 to 12 times over the process of a year, over 2 years, I can't tell you enough how people are watching you. I want you to hear me when I say this. A gal just the other day who I reached out 2 months into Plexus, 2 months, actually 3 months, January of 2015. That was the beginning of my 3rd month in Plexus. I hadn't even turned senior gold yet. In fact, I hadn't even turned gold yet. I was still a silver. I met her in a garage sale. I sent her a 3-day trial. She tried it. That was it. And she dropped off into the witness protection. Okay. And every now and then she would comment on one of my real big, huge feedback things, like, what's your favorite movie? That's the most recent one I did. But I mean, in a blue moon, she would come out of the woodwork and comment on something. And I knew she was watching. But when I would message her right after that, nothing. Like zilch. She said nothing to me. Until the other day, she commented on a Plexus post. It was a business post. And she said, wow, that sure is a beautiful Lexus, or something like that. And then she said something on another post like, where can I get one for myself? And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So what I did, because I didn't believe that she was serious, because she had blown me off for so long, that I texted her, I voice texted her, hey, Susie. Her name happens to be Susie. And I said, hey, I am so happy to hear from you. You know, I've texted you a lot over the last 2 years and haven't heard back from you. Thank you so much for that comment on my post. Hey, just curious, are you just trying to support me and give me a pat on the back? Or are you really wanting to know how you can get yourself a Lexus? Like, let me know which one that is. And she's like, no, I kind of really would like to know how to get one. I was like, you got to be kidding me, right? I'm not kidding. And we talked on the phone. I said, would you be open to talking on the phone? And she's like, yeah. I said, are you free now? And I said, is this still your number? She's like, no, that's not my number anymore. Here it is. And we got on the phone and she's like, I'm ready. I'm ready. It's time. I am so sick of my life and my body and this and that. And what did she just say to me? I'm ready. It's time. Guys, it's all about timing. And if you drop the ball and you stop following up, somebody will catch them and sign them up. Remember what we have in our hands. This company is a legacy company. Our products change lives. And our ambassador army gets bigger and bigger and bigger every single day. And it grows all the time. And we're expanding all across the country and 3 other countries as well. And one day it's not going to be the question of what's Plexus. It's going to be, who do you get your Plexus from? So take advantage of this concept of follow-up. You must take it seriously. You must Find a way to get the system and get it going, okay? And she gives you some statistics. I want you to hear this, okay? So that's my little speech before we get started. Most people make this mistake of one and done. If you get a no from somebody, they think, well, that's the end of it. I'm not going to ever reach out again. Okay, now here's when I never reach out again. When somebody says to me, don't ever contact me again, please. Take me off your list. Yes, please remove me from your list. Please do that. I would rather not ever hear about Plexus again. Okay, I'm never going to say another thing to them about Plexus. They would have to contact me, okay? But if somebody says, no, no, not interested, I always ask, hey, timing is everything. I totally understand that. Would it be okay with you if I'm asking permission, right? Would it be okay with you if I just touch base with you in a couple of months to see how you're doing and maybe if something has changed? And you know what they always do? I have never had a person tell me no. Why? Because they just told me no. They just told me no, they're not interested. So when I ask if I can talk to them again in the next couple of months to see how they're doing and if anything's changed, they're going to say yes, because they don't think I'm going to really follow up in a couple of months. They don't think I'm serious, and they don't want to be rude. They don't want to say, no, please don't ever talk to me. They're not going to do that. It would be impolite. It's okay for them to tell me that they're not interested right now in what I have to offer, but it would be rude and it's socially unacceptable to say. It just makes people feel uncomfortable to say, no, don't contact me ever again, unless they really don't want you to. And like I said, I've never been told that. So always ask permission to contact again, all right? And that sets up your next follow-up with that person that just told you no. So you could just say, hey, I ran across this incredible testimony and I thought about you. Or, my friend Janine just had this incredible experience with Plexus where she ranked up. And, she's just like you. She's a real estate agent. And I just had to share her story with you because you might be able to relate. Hey, Gina has just would love to ask you, has anything changed in the last few months? Perhaps maybe you've thought about this at even a slight bit. Would you be open to hearing a little bit more about this? Taking another look at it? I love the conversation that Romi suggests. Take another look. Would you be open to taking another look? Take another look. I love that phraseology because all it is, it's not saying, do you want to sign up? Are you interested in the opportunity? No, don't ever use the word interested. Are you open to taking another look? Hey, just take a look at this. That's all I want you to do. Just take a look. See if it's a fit for you. Right? I love that terminology. See if it's a good fit. Whether it may or may not be, we don't know. Let's just see if it's a good fit. Okay, so those are some really, really great non-committal, non-threatening terminology that you can use with your prospects. All right, the majority of people that you talk to will need to see and hear your message many times. Many times. The rule of 7 is an old marketing maxim, the rule of 7. It advises that a person needs to see or hear your message at least 7 times before she takes action, okay? Social marketing must be an ongoing process in order to be successful. What is social marketing? Building a relationship, really caring about somebody enough to talk to them about life, asking them about their life and really caring about them, being involved in their life, even if it's through social media, messaging, really caring about what's going on, social marketing. Why? Well, first, the amount of noise each of us is bombarded with every single day is staggering. And you have to understand, our brain is nothing but Plexus all day long. That's all we think about. we've got to accomplish these goals. We've got to check off our list. We've got to get these things done. We've got to talk to this many people. Everybody else is not thinking about that. They are bombarded with junk and static and noise and interruptions all day long, and their brain is not focusing on plexus. Second reason is that what you're talking about may be so far from that person's mind that she's ever considered going to take it's going to take a series of exposures for her to warm up to the idea. It's just so far away from what she's even thought about. Okay? But realize that it's not too far away for her to consider it. She will consider it if you continually expose her and educate her about our opportunity. Maybe it's not the right time because she's so busy and overwhelmed that she cannot even focus on what you're telling her. Perhaps she's just not looking for what you have to offer, at least not right now. At least not right now. People are comfortable in their lives. People are comfortable, and they go back and forth between being desperate for an answer, then they get something solved, some little thing tides them over, and now they're not desperate anymore. They go back to being comfortable, and they don't have a need or an overpowering urge to get something done or make some sort of a difference in their financial future. They think everything's going to be just fine. And so maybe their desperation is gone, and then, you've got to wait for the right timing again. So really, why should you be able to defy the numbers game dictated by human behavior and our noisy world? Unless you've got a superhero power in mind of mind manipulation, this is how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to take time for people to realize what you have to offer them and start to consider it as an option for their lives. Okay? And it's up to you to take control of that process and make sure that they have enough exposures and information so they can start forming a curiosity about what you're doing. Right? When somebody says no to you, it really means not right now. And my question to you is, do you believe that? Because I do believe that now. I used to not when I was new in Plexus. When somebody said no to me, that was finite. That was the end of it. It was hard for me to even think about going back to them. Okay? But I know right now that no does not mean forever. It means just not right now. And trust me, if you stop talking to that person, if you stop building that relationship and that connection, somebody else is going to put them in their funnel and is going to sponsor them. Okay? And they're going to take advantage of your first exposures and the information that you gave them, because even though they didn't say yes to you right away, you did pique their interest enough to have them listen to you and actually tell you no. Okay? So think about that. And if you stop talking to them, somebody else is going to pick up. It's like a slot machine in Vegas. You go in and put a few quarters in and you think you're not going to win. You turn around and walk away. Somebody comes over there and puts a few more quarters in and they win. So I'm telling you, that is the case with this thing. Do you believe me now? A no is not forever. It's just not right now. And you've got to be the one that takes control of the process. Okay. Romi says, I don't need verified research to tell you if you keep following up with people, a whole bunch of them will either buy your product or join your team. Because she says, I've lived it. And I've heard hundreds of beautiful stories of no finally turning into yes. Failure comes not from getting no, but from failing to keep following up with the no. Failure comes from failing to continue to follow up with that no. Okay? The golden rule. What's the golden rule? Reach back periodically to everybody that you've talked to, unless they've already joined your business or told you, do not contact me again. That's the golden rule of network marketing. If you don't, you're missing a whole lot of yeses that will happen if you just keep talking. Just keep talking to them. Keep the door open. That's what she means. Keep the door open. Keep the relationship going. Keep the conversation going. Don't let it get cold. Okay? reaching back to your customers to talk about the business and get referrals is vitally important as well. You've got to reach out to your customers and try to get referrals from them. And just by going through the process of getting your customers to think about some people that they know that could really use the product or the business opportunity, that's a perfect segue into getting them to think about signing up as an ambassador themselves. So customers who already love your product are the lowest hanging fruit for the business builders and referrals. And that's what you've got to remember. That's the lowest hanging fruit for getting referrals for your business or getting them to convert. To sharing, right? Why don't most people follow up? Why? Well, most often it's because you either do not want to seem pushy. I know that's what mine was. Or you're so wounded after that first no that you're afraid to go back. Okay? Repeat after me, she says. Can you do that right now? I want you to repeat after me right now. I want you to say this. I am not being pushy. Say it. Say it again. I am not being pushy. Good. I'm being professional. Say that. I'm being professional. I'm not being pushy. I'm being professional. That's right. Look, it's your responsibility to help people. You're not going after sales. Okay. Yes. Do they pay our bills? Yes. Okay. Yes. And it does sound corny for me to sit here and say that we don't sell, but I really don't feel like we sell, because what we're doing is we're educating people and showing them how they could live a better life. I mean, how is that selling? You can have a whole different life. You can have no pain. You can have better trips to the bathroom. You can live maybe longer and prevent disease. I know that that's totally not compliant. But I mean, when I'm talking about having a better life, I mean, how is that being a salesperson? I mean, you're going to get paid for helping people not die 20 years early? I'm sorry, that sounds really arrogant and bold. And I can't prove that we do that. And that is very non-compliant. But I mean, when you put it in those types of terms, how is that selling? They don't want to die early. They want to prevent disease. They want to have the best gut and health. So why do you think that you're being pushy? Stop thinking that you're being pushy. You're offering them the chance of a lifetime to get healthy for cheap. For cheap. At the very minimum, they could just pay $3 or $4 a day. And at the most, if they want to do a little work, they can get it paid for and help somebody else and watch them get healthy. I mean, literally, okay, guys, I know I'm going off on a tirade here. But yesterday, I was at this sip and see for a level 1 ambassador who's not on this call right now. And she brought her friends. And a lot of them are skinny and they're sitting there and I'm like, they're not going to want this. That's what my stupid little brain is saying. Even though I've talked to so many people who are in pain and have disabling things going on in their gut and in their mind and their brain and all this stuff, I'm thinking they're skinny. They're not going to think they need this. And even though I talked about all the things that it helps, I thought they're not going to want it. And at the end, I'm like, does anyone have any questions? And it was hard for them to start asking me things. I mean, they were just like, okay, well, I have some catalogs. Would everyone like to have a catalog? Maybe you could look through there. And if you think of a question, I will stick around for the next 20 minutes. Maybe you can, ask me a question, or whatnot. And Emily, the girl that I'm talking about, was, kind of walking the room and talking to her people. And I just very quietly went around to one person after the other and just sat down very quietly and said, you know what? No strings here. Is there anything I can help you with? Like, what were you thinking during the presentation? Do you have any issues? And these were these skinny girls. And one girl's just like, I have migraines. Bad. And I had an injury. And I think that's what it was. And I'm like, migraines can come from more than just an injury. And then the more I talked to her, she told me more. She said, you know, and she started fanning her underarms. She's only 30, fanning her underarm. I'm like, are you hot? I'm like normal in here. I'm feeling good. And she's like, oh, it's always just this pit. I'm so hot. And I'm like, honey, that's hormones. You shouldn't be doing that. This is like normal in here. And she's like, yeah. Well, what about going to the bathroom? Because like, I only go like twice a week. I'm like, you're kidding me. I mean, the more that we sat there, the more she started talking. And then the tears built behind her eyes and they didn't drop down, but there they were. And she says, and I've been trying to have a baby for a year. And I can't have a baby. I'm just like, we can't get pregnant. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you need Plexus so bad. I mean, boom. You know, what we need to realize is that people don't know what this will do for them until we tell them. And if we think we're being too pushy and we stop talking because we don't want to offend and they say no, they're saying no from limited education. They have no idea what they're saying no to. It's up to us to show them what this is. It's up to us to love them enough to continue to share and not keep our light hid under a bushel, like it talks about in the Bible. So are you on a mission to change lives, or are you just trying to sell? Because if you are really on a mission to change lives, your paycheck will take care of itself. You will get paid, I promise you. And you are not being pushy. You're being professional and you love people. So please stop thinking that. I know I just chased a rabbit, but I felt like you needed to hear that. You just needed to hear that tonight. Okay. All right. Failure comes not from getting no, but from failing to keep following up with that no. The golden rule, just talked about that. Repeat after me, I'm not being pushy. Okay. So, since we know people that you talk to are programmed by human nature and their environment to say no the very first time, that's what they're programmed to do, okay? Their no says nothing about you. They're programmed to do it. I said no when Christine started posting about Plexus, and I even talked to her about it, and then I said, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. I mean, I even said no, and I was the one that contacted her. Okay? We are programmed to not be interested. We're programmed to think something's a scam. We're programmed to think something won't work, and we're programmed to say no. So it's not about you. Okay? She shared a success story. It's over on page 125. It's about a girl who was constantly told no. She just kept following up. She kept on talking to her. Finally, she got the yes. And now she and her friend, Jamie and Jen, are two of the most successful leaders in the entire company. Okay? I'm telling you, there's story after story after story in Plexus about the same thing. You keep following up and you're going to hit a gold mine. The fortune is in the follow-up, guys. That is not a cliche term. It is true. The fortune's in the follow-up. Our last 4 new personal business partners and 3 customers are people that I've been talking to for years, says Romi. And as in 2, 3, 4, and 5 years. 2, 3, 4, and 5 years. Over the years, they've told us no, not right now, not a good time, even said nothing at all, like the crickets that are chirping. And she hates them, those damn crickets she's talking about, right? So make sure that you have a system so that you don't let them slip through the cracks, okay? So find a system that works for you so that you can keep track for your reach back purposes. And if you need to go back and figure out what is a good system for you, go back to chapter 3 and decide on a system that you can adopt, okay? So one of the things that you can say to somebody is like this: I'm going to just loop back around with you in 5 or so weeks. I'll look forward to hearing how great the remodel turned out, and we'll pick up our conversation. Does that sound good? Somebody that's remodeling their home. Okay. Hey, I'm just going to loop back with you in about 5 weeks. I'll look forward to hearing how great your remodel turned out, and we'll just pick up our conversation. Does that sound good? See, you're setting up the next follow-up. Whenever you hear anything from somebody, you set up the next follow-up. Even when they say nothing to me, I text them back and say something, and I set up the next follow-up. I let them know that I'm going to be talking to them again. In fact, I have been known to say to somebody, until you tell me no, until you say never contact me again, until you say take me off of your list, you're going to hear from me at least once a month. Sorry, because I actually really do care about you. I really do. And I mentioned the WIIFT. Remember, what's in it for them? I mentioned because you told me that you have this and that and the other thing. And I really do care about you getting help with that. And you can say nothing to me, but I care enough to reach back with you. That's what I always say. No matter how crazy my life is and all the things that I forget, I'm not going to forget to do this. I like to think of reaching back to people like it's a game, says Romi. It's fun to figure out excuses to loop back and get my prospects to think, oh, okay, I really think I should listen to this, what Romi has to say. And get them to start thinking that way. Okay, so there's 7 reasons to follow up. Number 1, update them on your business. Update them on your business. Whenever you hit a big milestone, even if you perceive it as a little milestone, okay, it can be talked about like it's a big one. So when you earn your investment back or your first check in Plexus, reach out to the people that you've spoken to thus far and tell them. And she gives an example of what to say. I know we've talked when we first launched my business and it wasn't the right time for you, but I had to tell you what's happened just in a month. I've already earned back my investment. So everything from here out will help me save for my kids' college and go into our vacation fund or our down payment for a house. I think you should just take another look. This could be a way for you to blah, 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 and use the WIIFT. What's in it for them? Maybe it's even when you promote in a title or earn a company incentive. Let them know that you did it. Hey, I just want to update you on my business. Again, tell them, I just got this, that, and the other thing happened to me. Maybe you should take another look. Do you hear the common thread? Maybe you should take another look. It sure would help you to do whatever it is, what's in it for them. Explain it. Make sure you mention that. When people in your team experience any success of whatsoever, it provides another compelling reason. Like, for example, when we sponsored 247 people last month, I reached out to quite a few folk who needed to get some financial freedom and had expressed interest in my business before. And I said, while you have been hanging out watching me, our team just added 247 people last month. I didn't go out and personally sponsor them. The team did. I think maybe you should take another look at this. While you're sitting back over here, this residual income thing is happening over here. Maybe you should take a look at it and get yourself some financial freedom with some of the things that you mentioned to me that one time that we talked. Would you be open to getting on the phone with me at some point this week? How does Wednesday at 7 work for you? Set up an appointment. Okay. The do-over. I already talked about the do-over. Apologize. I didn't know what I was doing. I was brand new in the business. I just want to apologize. I had no idea what I was doing. And you probably got the worst type of exposure to my company and our opportunity and our product that I could have ever done. But now that I actually have a pretty good grip on what I'm doing and what's going on, would you be open to taking another look at this? I didn't read out of the book, but you can read out of it. It's page 128. Okay. Every single person that I reached back to with this approach welcomed the do-over. People don't say no to you when you say you're sorry. People don't say no to you. They're like, of course, yeah, I'll listen to it. I'll take a look at that. You want to send a video? Okay, I'll watch it. Number 2 reason, new product launch. Now, this is what you hear from every diamond in the company. I've heard that ever since I got started. When you have a new product that launches, that is your reason to go and talk to everybody you have ever said anything to in Plexus. She gives several examples of how to do it. If there's people stuck in your funnel, referral sources, your customers, people that have said no to you, you need to go right back to them and tell them all about this new product launch. Okay. Maybe it's previously mentioned that they might be interested in something similar to what you're launching. Well, hey, the last time that we talked, you said down the road you might be interested in blah, 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 blah. Okay. I couldn't wait to tell you I've got this amazing product for you. Okay. Use what she says. Lead with what's in it for them. Lead with that. I remember you telling me that you had XYZ issues. Okay. The new product launch also provides an excellent opportunity to reignite your business conversation, because every new product offers the possibility to capture more market share. More market share. Okay, and then she gives another way that you can say that, okay, on page 129. I know that at one time you said that my business wasn't the right fit for you, but I had to reach back because we just launched this new product that will help us capture more of the multi-billion-dollar anti-aging market. See, it's another market. Gut health market, blood sugar market, inflammation, mental health, you name it. What market is it that we have a lot of markets that we work in right here, okay? Have you found another way to pay for your kids' tuition? Private school tuition? Have you found another way? In other words, have you found a plan B? And then describe the business advantage that the new product will bring. Okay, so I didn't read the whole thing here. Okay, perhaps you should take another look. I love that. Maybe you should take another look. Have you thought about taking another look? Number 3 reason, reaching back, an event in their city. If there's an event in their city, guess what? You need to tell them about it. Okay? A local event provides an organic reason to reach out and touch somebody again. There's an informal event happening in your area next week, and if you can decide that you want to take a closer look, it'll be a great opportunity for you. Always ask for referrals every single time, and that's one of the things that I failed to do, guys, okay? I am not a master at this, and I failed to ask for referrals. I totally get that it's not for you, but since we're expanding in your market, your local network is going to be there to hear about us. If they're not going to hear about it from you, I'd love for them to hear about us and our products from me. In other words, if you don't want to tell your friends about it, I'd love to tell your friends about it. Since you're saying you would not want, they're going to hear about it anyway. Since they're not going to hear about it from you, why don't you let them hear about it from me? And I love that she's so bold when she says that. They're not going to hear about it from you. Why don't you let them hear about it from me? Okay? That's really, really smart. Now, it doesn't say it exactly that way, but it's more diplomatic. So look on page 130. Number 4, good news or media coverage about your company. Hey, we've just now been featured in Success from Home magazine. We were just released on the Inc. 5000 number such and such because our company is the such and such fastest growing. Okay, whatever the statistic is, whatever the feature is, that's a good reason to reach out to people and follow up. Okay. Hey, Maura, it's Romi. I know we've talked about my business before and it was not a good fit, but I thought that you might want to take another look. See? Same terminology, just a different reason to reach out. Our CEO was just featured in Smart Business Magazine, blah, 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 blah. This still might not be for you. I totally get that. But even if it's not, I'd love to be connected with people in your network who might be open to hearing about it and starting a small business of their own. Okay? It's always great to throw in a request for referrals, and that's what I have always, just forgotten to do or neglected to do. Number 5, to be a go-giver. Now, this is one of the biggest reasons to reach out, and I use it often. Being a go-giver, okay? There's several people I'm working on right now. One of them I'm working on is the fitness manager at my gym, who flat out told me that I cannot use the gym in any way, shape, or form as a platform for expanding my business. You just heard me. She told me that when she hired me to do one class a week, one spin class a week. So no, I'm not going to be sharing with the people that show up in my class, but I'm going to be sharing it with her when the time is right. So what am I doing right now? I actually really love her. I really do. I see leadership qualities in her. I see her popping these fizz things that she buys from Sam's that are energy drink things. I see her stressed out and exhausted and is carrying around babies on her hips and she's tired. She used to be a teacher and she's looking for other opportunities to make more money. Her husband makes really good money, but not enough to where she gets to go on vacations. She's mentioned that whenever they go on a vacation, they have to go and see family. You know, all I do is take every opportunity to notice something amazing that she's doing and applaud her. And just the other day, she said, Suzanne, I can't believe it, but I actually teared up at what you said to me. I send her voice texts, like on regular text, not on Messenger, like on regular instant messaging, like through the iPhone. And I just tell her, you know, I really appreciate your emails. They're very informative. You know, you obviously have so much passion. You cover all the bases and you really do make sure that everybody has the bases covered and that they're fully informed. And she's like, you actually read my emails? I'm telling you, Suzanne, that means everything to me to hear that. I never hear that from anybody. Nobody ever tells me that I'm what I'm doing. I said, you know, and whenever she told me that her boss was mad at her, because she was so passionate about the launch that happened on Saturday and they screwed it up and didn't open the gym at the right time and our class was messed up and she was angry and she reached out to the powers that be. The gym managers were mad at her. And when she shared that with me, I thought that was the craziest thing in the world and I supported her. I just simply said, Heather, if I were your boss, honey, you would have all the support you ever needed. I would be so proud of the job that you're doing. You are an incredible young woman. You're an incredible leader. You have so much potential that these people don't notice it. They just don't. And I can see the potential in you. And I told her and I've already mentioned my team to her. And even though I don't say anything about recruiting her or having her take a look at anything yet, I'm planting little seeds because I've said, you know, I know that you think that, because she says, I need to work on being more bold like you. And I said, Heather, you have your own version of boldness. I said, most of the people on my team have your personality. You would be blown away to know that. But it's the truth. And I said, you don't have to have my personality to be a leader. And so I plant little seeds, see? And she's clicking like on a lot of my posts, but not Plexus ones yet. She loves my leadership quotes. She loves my positive affirmation quotes. She loves my anything where I'm promoting positivity. She's attracted to that. And let me tell you, one day she's going to be open to hearing about Plexus. And I'm telling you right now, she's going to want to join me. So I'm telling you, be a go-giver. Find a way to offer value to someone. Find a way to add value in their lives and really mean it and love them. That's what you need to do. It's all about how can you serve them. Go-givers do not just cultivate a one-sided relationship, looking at people as if they can get something from them, like a sale. You can't look at people like that. Instead, go-givers give to people by being helpful, by being a connector, by genuinely being interested in others and singing others' praises. Singing others' praises. I noticed what you did the other day. Outstanding job, well done. Phenomenal job. If I were your boss, I would be nothing but proud of you. Kudos, you would get a raise. Okay? And I noticed that and I gave her praise. In order to be a go-giver to people in your network, you have to learn about them personally and then keep good notes about what you learn. So take notes about them. You know, I just told you a lot of things about this girl because I'm trying to cultivate a relationship with her and I'm trying to influence her a little bit. So you need to note some things about these people. In addition to finding out about somebody's pain points, like I just told you, she can't go on vacation. She's lacking energy. She needs answers for her finances, etc. You want to figure out a way that your business can eliminate their pain. You want to ask them questions and listen so that you can discover and remember what's of interest to them and send them things that they'd like to receive. Send them something that adds some value to them. And it might not have anything to do with your business at all, but you're loving on them. Write down some notes about them. Enter it into a spreadsheet, whatever it is that you do, a little notebook on the card index file that I keep. I write little notes about that person. Write down at least what they do for a living, okay? She gives an example about a nurse from California that she met in Lake Tahoe, interested in the business. They promised to keep in touch. 3 months later, she read a really interesting article, and then she forwarded it to her, and she said, hey, this article made me think of you, and I thought you'd find it interesting. You might even know some of the folks that quoted in there. I'm enjoying keeping up with you on Facebook. It looks like your son's birthday party was a blast. Happy spring. Same thing I do with the gal who came down from Massachusetts that's a huge spin instructor person with the big company that represents our gym. Okay, she went right back to Massachusetts. I haven't seen her since. I probably won't until she joins my team and I go out there to do a meeting for her. And notice how I'm talking about it as if it's going to happen, because I'm never going to quit talking to her. Hey, Natalie, what's going on? How's life with you and your boyfriend? Or how are things going? I just been thinking about you. You've been going through my mind. I did send up a few prayers about you. I hope you had a great weekend last weekend with your parents over the 4th of July. How's your new spin classes coming up? Hey, at my gym, we're launching the new release. How's that going at your gym? See, never going to quit talking to her. Why? She's amazing. Freaking powerhouse. She will join. And at the very minimum, if it will help her, and then she'll lead me to some other powerhouses because she knows powerful leaders. She is influential. And if she doesn't want to do something with this, trust me, she needs it bad. She needs the business so bad. Girls are going to go to college pretty soon. Number 6, pregnant, new baby, or kids starting school. Now, this one is a new one. I had never even thought about this. Why? Probably because I've never had any babies, right? And I'm sure that's why not. Listen to Romi. This is so cool. She says, I found out that even when people have said that no to me, they sometimes see what's in it for them a little differently once they have a bun in the oven, or a new baby that they have to leave at home to go back to work. Now that's huge. When a friend who works announces that she's pregnant, okay, she says, I always ask how long she plans to take off after the baby. How long do you plan to take off after you have your baby? Okay, then this inevitably leads to a conversation about where she either A, laments that she doesn't get to go have enough time off, or B, is excited that she'll have at least 3 months off and doesn't want to even think about going back to work. This conversation gives her the opening to suggest that she might want to take another look. You might want to take another look at what I do. Okay? You know, between now and when the baby comes, you could build a significant startup to a lucrative business that could give you more options down the road. A professional life that fits in around your baby and not the other way around. Something that fits around your life, not you having to fit around that. It's what I like to call postpartum prospecting. Oh, wow. Romi is a master, telling you. Postpartum prospecting. I love that. Whenever one of my friends who works gives birth, I mark on my calendar to reach out to her 4 months after she delivers. 4 months after she delivers. I know how hard it is to leave your baby at home and go back to work after your maternity leave. She's like, it's gut-wrenching. I remember the first day I had to go back to work after Nate was born, and I cried the whole way to work, and then at lunch, and then when I had him back in my arms. So that's why she says I wait 4 months to contact them after they have their baby. Okay. So of course I'm keeping in contact with my friend before her maternity leave is over to be a go-giver with tips, support, and sleeplessness, genuine appreciation for the never-ending stream of pictures chronicling the new baby's move. But she says, I found that after they've been back at work for about a month, they likely would love to talk about how they could get home and be at home all the time. Okay, so don't forget about postpartum postpartum prospecting. That's a new one for me. Huge, huge. Number 7, last one. When somebody just like them succeeds. Now, I have done that. Somebody that's a real estate agent just goes to town. Okay, well, guess what? I'm going to go talk to that real estate agent who I've been trying to prospect. Somebody that works in a dental office. You know, I've got a lot of people in the dental industry and on this team. So I'm going to go talk to my dental hygienist. I got dental hygienists all over my team, and they're building teams, and they've got all kinds of side income. They get their products paid for, and they're working on financial freedom. You know, you could do that too. You could work this around your job. It could fit right into your life. I couldn't help but wonder if you wanted to take another look at the business, at what I do. Take another look at what I do. Also, reach back when somebody just like them promotes or earns incentives. You better believe that every time a real estate pro earns a free Lexus or a luxury trip in our company, I reach out to every person I know in real estate. The same thing goes for any other demographic, a realtor, a teacher, somebody in corporate America. You know, it doesn't matter. Okay. Hey, my friend such and such just is celebrating a huge success in this business, and I thought of you. She just earned a free Lexus and a trip to Maui, and she's giddy over the perks that she doesn't get in her day job. I thought you might want to take another look at what I do. Another compelling reason is when somebody just like them retires from their day job because of their side gig. Again, blah, 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 blah. I thought you might want to take another look at what we're doing. Take another look. Okay. So, to light a fire under your follow-up butt, she says, I leave with you this thought. How pissed are you going to be if you reached out 4 times to somebody, but it was another business builder who reached out to them the 5th time, and when it was the right time for your prospect, and then she joins that person's team or becomes her customer? She should have been yours. So make sure that she always is, and that you remember the fortune is in the follow-up. There's your 7 reasons to follow up with people. Now let's talk about duplication. Okay. Now this is not very long. It starts with you, period. You want your team to do it. Now this one's going to be sort of an in-your-face little talk right here, because I read this and I was like, wow, she is really in faces here. Growing a successful team and lucrative income requires duplication. Let me tell you, whenever I preach at you guys, I preach to self. Please know that. I asked myself these same questions I'm getting ready to ask you, and I did not like the answer. Just saying. It could always be better. I could always be better. All right? Way better. Way better. Okay, so this means adding customers and business partners who in turn add customers and business partners. That's what you want them to do, right? You go and add business building people and customers who turn around and add more business building people and customers. That's duplication. So how do we do it? It's simpler than you think. If you start trying to make it complicated, you're going to just slow the process down. So stop making it complicated. It starts with you, period. The only part of this business that we have total control over is your own personal business activity. That is the only thing you have control over. You cannot control Jill's activity, Mary's activity, Cindy's activity, Rhonda's activity. You can control yours. That's it. Period. End of story. So if you happen to be a bit of a control freak, I encourage you to get over it like I had to do, and do it now. Get over it. Because duplication and ultimately success in this business starts with us. Starts with us. I want you to, oh, here it comes. This is not fun. Okay. This is where I ask myself this question. I want you to ask yourself a very simple but important question. If everybody on your team did exactly what you currently do every day, every week, every month, how big would your business be? I don't like the answer to that question because I don't feel like I do enough. There's always people out there doing more. I look at them every day. Now, am I saying to go compare yourself and make yourself insane and be a downer and think that you're a loser? No, that's not what I mean. What I'm saying is, if you look at what you're doing every day, like I just did when I read the chapter, and you say to yourself, am I doing everything that I can be doing? If my team were doing exactly what I'm doing every single day, week, and month, how big would my business be? Ask yourself that. That's a big question. And some people are not going to like the answer. I know I didn't. Whenever you find yourself frustrated because your business is not growing, ask yourself that question. Because guess what? Your team is going to do basically half or less of what you do. And those are the people that run hard. They're going to be doing half or less of what you do. If you ever find somebody on your team that does more than you, that's an anomaly. That is rare. Rare, rare, rare. She says, I still ask myself that very question. Whenever I'm noticing our team growth is not as rapid or as steep as I would like to see it, I first look at what I'm personally doing. Here's a shorter list that you can be doing to start off the duplication process. Number 1, constantly adding to your list, your Frank's list. Number 2, reaching out and reaching back to people on your list. Number 3, inviting people interested in the business to 3-way calls or events. And if it's the right fit, adding them to your team. Number 4, adding those who are not interested in the business as customers and asking them for referrals. And number 5, getting paid. Getting paid. If you don't do all those things all the time, then you're going to teach your team how to do the same thing by simply duplicating your behavior. What's another thing that's really, really important? You got to have some fun. You got to have some fun. If it's not fun, if people can't see that this is fun at all, what in the world is going to make them even slightly want to do this? I mean, they're going to want to see that there's a possibility to have some fun here, okay? People ultimately join your team because of you and your energy, not the product, not the company, not the CEOs, not the comp plan, not anything but you. They join you, your passion, your belief, okay? But it's also emotional gain. They want to join because of an emotional thing that's going to be met in their lives. Satisfaction of building something on their own, having something in their life that's different, a new adventure, a fun outlet. I could do a survey on this team, even people that are not on this call tonight, and I can already name some folks that I can tell you that's one of the biggest reasons they do Plexus, is because of the team, the family. It's a fun outlet. It's something for them to invest themselves in. They can call it all their own. It's nothing, nobody else can put their name on it. It's their baby. They can feel good about something that makes them feel like I can feel good about something here, you know? This gal named Bridget Kavanaugh says, your people will do an average about half of what you do. And those are just the runners. That's called the half rule. The half rule. Now, here's a big whoa. You ready? Oh my, this one's going to hit home. Let's assume that you're doing a bare minimum to earn a paycheck. The half rule says that your people will do half of that, which is pretty pathetic. Okay? I just had to stop with that. That there's days when I'm like, what am I doing? Okay? I need to do better. It's okay to take a day off if you plan it. But when I take a day off and I haven't planned it and I plan to do all these other things and I didn't do it, that's when I'm not happy with myself. Okay? So I'm going to say it again. Let's assume that you're doing the bare minimum to earn a paycheck. The half rule says that your people will do half of that. Okay? So that's a really pathetic work program, if you ask me. All right? That's why to really build a big team, you must commit today to be the top producer of your team. Then you're going to have to commit to besting your own self every single month to show your team how it's done. You've got to set the example. And that's what she did early on. She says, I recognized that I could not ask my team to do anything that I was not willing to do. I consistently talked to people and each and every month added customers and the business partners. And my personal volume kept on going up, and I had to set the pace and then look back and see who was keeping up with me. Team members come to me all the time, she said, with some variation of this frustration. Quote, I'm doing all the stuff to coach us like that you coach us to do. I'm doing everything right, but nothing's happening and my team is not duplicating. My team is not sponsoring. My team is not working. I hear it all the time too. They're not reaching out to people. They're not bringing me in three-way calls. Okay, well, what are you doing? I just always have to say, what are you doing? Let's see your IPA list. What are you doing every single day? So here's what she says, a conversation with her team member. Well, you want to try to find out why and really have their best interest at heart. You do. You need to talk to them. Don't scold them. Look, if you have their best interest at heart, you're going to ask why. You're going to ask a lot of questions. Lisa, I remembered you told me that you desperately want to get out of the teaching industry or the teaching profession because you're so tired of the pink slips and you'd rather spend more time with your kids than with everybody else's kids. And as we discussed, this is a great vehicle for you to do that, but it's not going to fall down from you from the sky, honey. It's not a lottery ticket. You're going to have to, it's going to require you to get out of your comfort zone and actually make some phone calls. So let's talk about why you're not doing that. Is it because you're having a hard time fitting it into your schedule? Is it because you're really still unsure of what to say? Is it because you're not sure that you're in the right business? Let's get real here. You can be totally honest with me. That's how I can help you. If you're totally honest with me. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what's going on. So, if you've done what you're supposed to do as their upline business partner to get them started strong and you've taught them how to do all the things that you're supposed to be doing, then you have done your job. What else can you do with a brand new ambassador? If they choose to stop working, or any ambassador for that matter, you know, you can reach out, you can talk to them, you can troubleshoot, you can have conversations, you can coach them, you can mentor them, but you cannot motivate them. There is nothing you can do to give them motivation. That motivation has to come from within. We owe it to our new business partners to work closely with them to teach them the basic skill system so that they can duplicate. But after that, what else can you do? The best way to teach them how to do what they're supposed to be doing is that you do it. Okay? By doing three-way calls with them and their prospects, helping them to strategize as they're starting to build a team. This requires that they actually commit to consistent IPA. Talking to people to find out those interested enough to want to learn more and then bringing them to you. And if they're not going to talk to enough people to find out if they're interested so they can bring them to you in a three-way chat or a three-way phone call, you can't make them do it. You can't make them. There's nothing else you can do for them. So if you want a big and successful, exponentially growing business, then keep adding to your own Frank's list. Keep reaching out to your people, using three-way calls and events and pulling them through your funnel to make a decision, enrolling business partners, adding customers, and getting paid. Keep doing that and you will grow and grow, and you'll share your success and experiences with your own team by doing that, which shows them how to do the same thing. If you have fun, keep doing all that over and over. Wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, and repeat. Show them that you're having fun doing the work. You know, it is fun. When you get into it, helping people is fun, okay? Being able to bring plexus to them. You'll find that people who are self-motivated, who see what you see and are willing to get out of their comfort zone and do the heavy lifting to do all those things, you're going to start seeing that. And then they will find people who are motivated too and want to build as well. That's how you duplicate. It starts with you. And there's people out there saying, really? Is that all there is to? Yes, it's that simple. You have to be the rock star on your team. You are the biggest rock star. You are the one that does it all. And they maybe do half. And I mean your runners. Your runners are doing about half of what you do. Okay? So you have to decide to be that rock star. And as soon as I say that to you, please know I'm saying it to me. Suzanne, you have to be the rock star on the team. You cannot look out there and say, what is this one doing, not doing that one? I can't. It all starts with me. If I'm not willing to talk every single day to people, if I'm not willing to follow up, if I'm not willing to invite to events, if I'm not willing to do sip and sees and offer to do three-way calls or do any of the things, if I'm not doing that, if I'm not sponsoring, then how do I expect you guys to sponsor? I can't. The speed of the leader is the speed of the team, period. Okay? So that's the end of it. So I am really, really happy that you guys joined us. We are only going to be doing, and I said this last week, but I really do mean this. Chapter 11 is a pretty big chapter. We are only doing it next week, okay? And it's the BS that we tell ourselves, okay? That's what we're doing next week. And I'm glad that there's a shortcut to saying that because I don't want to say the big word. Not on a video. Okay. Love y'all. Mwah. So glad you joined us. We're going to have our discussion now.